Welcome to the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise podcast with global sales trainer and professional speaker, Lois Kofi. Each week, it is her goal to share inspiration and education for you to be, do, have the best health and wealth and wisdom for your life.
Well, all right. And happy Friday for those of you who are tuning in to the live. This is another episode of Healthy and Wealthy and Wise. I'm Lois Kofi. I'm your host, a sales trainer, podcaster, celebrating over now 125 episodes of bringing you, my guests, my fans, my tribe, the best health and wealth and wisdom experts. And so you know the drill. If you are inside of my Healthy and Wealthy and Wise group, definitely go ahead and comment below, hashtag live, and where in the world are you? We have people from all over the world. So it's super fun to see which time zone you are in and what time of day it might be. We have people from all hours of the day that tune in. And if you're not already in the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise group, go to healthyandwealthyandwise.com and you can find my Facebook community. That's where you can meet my guests today. That's where you can meet all of my guests. And so each week we focus on a different topic that is really designed to help you live your best life. Because if you don't have your best health, your best wealth, and the wisdom to know the difference, life can be challenging. And I've been there and done that. And so today we have a very unique guest. His name is $2 Bill, and which I've never had a guest with a cool name like that. So this is exciting. He's a 30-year veteran of the insurance and financial services industry. So yes, we're going to talk about wealth today. We're going to talk about money, which isn't always fun. However, his message is going to be so powerful today. It's going to blow your mind. He's based in Kansas City, Kansas, or that's where the services industry has got a start for him. He has helped overwhelmed entrepreneurs whose debt has affected their marriage, right? I think that's like the number one cause of divorce, as well as your home life, because so many feel the 3 S's: stuck, stifled, and stressed out by debt. Who can relate to that? So he helps you get out of debt in less than a third the current pace without paying any more than they already are. So we're going to talk about some really powerful tips. You're going to want to take some notes. Make sure you have notes. And as always, if you're on the live or the replay, we will have the opportunity for you to ask questions along the way. And if you see value, please hit the share button and share this with your community. So $2 Bill, I'm going to turn this over to you. First, you got to tell us what that name means. And of course, your story, which I think has something to do with your name. So thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Lois. I appreciate it. The name is basically just, my real name is hard to spell. So to find me on social media is challenging. And William's my middle name, so it wasn't too much of a stress. And I show people how to turn their dollar bills into $2 bills. So it seemed like a good fit. As far as my story, I was really locked in a bad marriage. A lot of problems. As long as just the day-to-day necessities were okay, I was doing reasonably okay. And then I lost a good job right when the economy was really bad. And so it took me a long time to find something else. In fact, just to have some income, I was helping at the animal hospital where my then wife worked in the kennel. So I would walk dogs and clean out poopy cages. A friend of mine who has a floor care business heard about that, took pity on me, hired me on. So I would sweep floors by night and clean up dog poop by day. Very crushing to my ego. So on top of that, now the day-to-day needs were not being well cared for. We were falling into debt, had to declare bankruptcy. So now things were really bad. And unfortunately, I fell into depression and alcoholism. After getting a good job again, I came back from lunch one day with sneaking in a bottle of vodka, drank it at the office, was discovered and terminated. So then I went to being suicidal. And I had the plans made. I had 3 boxes of sleeping pills in my hand. And a number of different things happened to let me know that someone was looking out for me, that God was reaching out to me, telling me not to do that. And so that was almost 5.5 years ago now that I've been completely sober ever since. What was going to be my suicide date became my sobriety date and my new beginning.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, first of all, for sharing such a vulnerable story. And that says a lot about you, and you're here for a purpose, and you have a passion. And so I'm excited about that because you have so much to give. So I'm honored that you are here with us on this planet and here with us today. And I know you have a great gift at the end. So guys, please stick around to hear about that. And I know you're passionate about getting people out of debt faster. So when we hear all of these, the debt that the country is in and all of this kind of stuff, and people struggling with more month at the end of money, we've all been there. I've been homeless. I've been suicidal. I can relate to all of that. And a lot of it was, our self-worth was tied to that paycheck or to that money. So I know I struggled with that. And what is the extension of the problem with debt? Like, I don't even know if we fully understand it.
Yeah. And of course, I went through that. As a result of everything else, the debts just kept piling on. When I found this method for helping people, of course, I could relate, and it did become my passion. The extent of it, 80% of Americans are in debt. And the average amount is $250,000, with $6,200 of it being credit card debt alone. 2/3 of college graduates graduate with debt, the average amount being $39,000. They haven't even gotten into the workforce yet, and they're $39,000 in the hole. So it's tremendous, the extent of it, and it's systemic. It's a societal problem. It's not a few isolated people that have a hard time controlling their spending. The system really is rigged against us. Your lenders say, okay, we'll give you this mortgage at a fixed 4% interest, 3% interest. That's not what it really is. Those loans are amortized, which is this complicated formula. People that accept my free gift will be able to hear more about this in much more detail. But it's not what they tell you it is. You're paying a lot more in interest. And of course, insurance, financial services, the most heavily regulated of industries that there is. What does the government do about this? Absolutely nothing, because they and the lenders are just conspiring to keep us down and to build their profits up.
Yeah, there's so much that we don't know about this. I mean, it's I don't want to call myself a sheeple person, just kind of like just following what they tell us, right? That's kind of what we get programmed to be as students in school. And then you go to college, you get the debt, you get the house, you get the mortgage. So 110%. It's just we're kind of led astray. If I don't want to offend anyone, because I did sell real estate. I sold real estate, so I totally understand the industry on all different levels. And then a lot of times we are taught, or not, because I know I didn't get taught this. I was just told, don't spend any money and you'll be okay. That was my lesson as a kid. But there's a lot of people that are taught to budget. And I know you told me something about budget. So I'd like to talk about that, because a lot of people, you'll hear people say, well, I'm living on a shoestring budget, or I can't afford that because it doesn't fit into my budget. How can people get out of debt with or without budgeting? Do you have any advice on that?
I do. And first of all, I don't want anyone to misunderstand. Budgeting is a good thing. To know where your money is going, to check to see what might be wasted, that's a very good thing, and I highly recommend it. The thing is, depending on a budget to get you out of debt is unsustainable and naive. It's the fad diet of the financial world. To think, okay, I'm going to go on this fad diet and I'm going to lose all this weight. And maybe you do for a little while, but then what happens? you end up gaining it right back. And that's what happens so long with people who are focused on budgeting their way out of debt. Now, I'm not going to mention any names, but the so-called debt gurus that are out there today tell you, cut up your credit cards, work 2-3 jobs, eat nothing but ramen noodles, never have any fun, that's the key. But the thing is, when you take that approach, you're working your way up to zero. Okay, that's the end goal, is to get you up to zero. Okay, great. But there's better options. There's better options where you're not just working your way up to zero, you're setting up a savings account that you can retire on that will supplement your retirement at the same time as you're paying down your debt. Most people don't know that. Most people within the financial industry don't know that that's available. But it is. It's completely legit, legal, ethical, all of that. It's available, and I'm just trying to get the word out so that I can teach people how they can do this, how they can spend each dollar twice so that they can do more than just work your way up to zero. That they are getting on, they're moving along in their path to retirement at the same time as they're paying down their debt.
That is amazing. Yeah, I hear more and more of this kind of stuff. It's almost scary because there are those gurus out there who are on. I know who you're talking about. I'm not going to name names, but they might be on the radio. They might have their own podcast. So it's really hard to know who to trust. $2 bill. Yeah. Like, how do we know who to trust in this world right now, especially during the pandemic? There's a lot of people who may have lost their careers, their jobs, or their sales are down. Most of my crowd or tribe is independent business owners, salespeople, entrepreneurs, coaches, speakers. So can you give them, other than your free gift at the end, any other advice on how to size up the right financial expert that they would want to work with?
Absolutely. There's a lot of financial, in fact, if you Googled financial advisors in the United States, I believe it was 135 million that come up. There's no shortage of advice, but there's a key to finding the right advice. Most financial advisors will say, sure, I can get you this kind of a return. I can, here's what I typically get as I work with people. But then they ask you, how are you going to pay for this? Okay. A key to finding the right financial advisor is that they don't ask you, how are you going to pay for this? They provide you the way to pay for it. The average American spends 34% of their income goes to interest, 40% goes to taxes. That's 3/4 of our money. Okay. The key and the right advisor will be able to save you that interest by getting you out of debt, a portion of it, not all, of course, and has strategies for reducing those taxes. That's how they are providing you with the way to pay for this. So now, not only is your savings going up, but also your lifestyle money, what you're spending today. They're providing for you money for both of the times you need it, now and later. That's, and you contrast that with financial advisors. Most of them don't even address debt at all. They just immediately start talking about investments without talking about how can you get started in that race to retirement. Yeah,
because you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't even know if that's the right phrase, but you got to look at the holistic picture, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I know you named yourself $2 bill, and there's a question about that, because you've mentioned before when we've met, and oh, by the way, $2 bill and I are in the same mastermind group, so you guys heard me talk about masterminds last month and the power of that, and this is a great example of the caliber of the people that I have found in masterminds. So I'm super grateful to have met you there. And you say that you spend each dollar twice. That's what $2 bill means, right?
Yes.
Can you share more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, let me tell you what it does not mean. Okay, say you got $50 in your hand. You go into a store, you see a pair of jeans for $50, you see a jacket for $50. You cannot take them up to the cashier and say, okay, I'm going to spend this $50 on the jeans. And then, oh, by the way, I'm going to spend it twice and buy the jacket too. It doesn't work that way. I'm talking about something very specific where what you do is you set up an account, a certificate that is going to earn guaranteed tax-favored compound interest. Okay? It's building that account. Then when my software shows that, okay, this is the month where you're going to pay off debt number one, what you're going to do is you're going to take that money out of the account, pay off that debt in its entirety. It's gone. It's paid off. But that account is going to continue growing that same rate of guaranteed tax-favored compound interest as if you did not take any money out of it. So that's spending each dollar twice. It is both being invested for you and you're using it to pay off your debt. There are people, Lois, who use this where the only debt they have is their mortgage. Okay, they've only got that one debt, and at first their reaction is, oh, I've got it under control. I don't need to do your thing. But what they do is basically filter that payment, the monthly payment that they're making on their mortgage, into this account so that now that mortgage is paid off. They haven't just worked their way up to zero. They have an account, a savings account, a retirement account already built up that has already been earning that compound interest for however long. So now they're starting, they're not starting at zero. They're starting the race up ahead. I like to kind of paint this picture for people. If you picture the beginning of a marathon, okay, the 2019 Boston Marathon had almost 27,000 runners on one street. Okay, so picture the beginning there, just a mass of people. All right, if you're at the back of that line, you had a long way to run just to get to the starting line before you even went that 26.2 miles. You were exhausted by the time the race started. Okay? Getting out of debt is not the destination. It's reaching the starting line. Okay? Until you've gotten out of debt, you're not even in the race. Okay? The finish line is that happy retirement, that financial freedom by your definition. Okay? So you need to get out of debt. You need to get up to the starting line, but you also need to realize, hey, this is just the starting line. But now, say one of the race officials pulls you over and says, hey, I saw how far you had to go just to get this far, just to get to the starting line. How about I give you a ride into the course? I give you an opportunity to move up into the course, shorten that race. Well, what a great opportunity that would be.
That's
Not just starting at zero, not just starting at the starting line, but starting into the course.
I love that analogy, just so you know, because I've done the Boston Marathon and I know, first of all, you have to qualify. So that's can be hard and arduous and exhausting, but so worth it. However, if I hadn't been in one of the first corrals, you're absolutely right. Why go the extra miles? Why go the extra distance if you can train smart? It sounds like is what you're making me think of as a former marathoner, right? Is you're working smart. You have the right tools, the right coach in you, for example.
Nobody's going to run a marathon successfully without training, without a coach, without knowledge, without training, without coaching. Yes.
And guys, don't forget, this is your opportunity because we only have about 11 minutes left. Ask questions, comment below, because we have had, and it just happened this way. I didn't plan for this. We've only had probably about 3 wealth building people on my show. One was the very, very, very first month last year. And we happen to have Jerry Fetta with Wealth Dynamics last month. And now we have $2 bills. So this is your opportunity, guys, to ask questions. Thank you. We have some guests here. I'm going to give you guys a shout out. Med, I believe you're from Canada, right? Great analogy. He's loving it. He was just through my 5-day challenge. And of course, Sean Waite live from Minnesota. If you guys are just joining us, please again, remember comment below, #live and where you're tuning in from. And I'll give you a shout out. And of course, this is your opportunity to ask questions about the content. And I know you're really passionate and you're going to, I think, just so we make sure we get a good amount of time. I don't normally do this early, but I want you to talk about your gift. You guys can go to the website, www.spendeachdollartwice.com and check out what he has to offer. Can you tell us more about what they're going to find there?
Yes, it is my free 5-day Spend Each Dollar Twice challenge. So that'll give me a lot more time to dig deeper and tell you more about just what this process is, where to go to get help, how I might be able to help you if that's what you choose, or how you can get that help. It's 1 hour at the most. I'm shooting more for like 50 minutes or so each day. 11 a.m. Central, so that's 9 o'clock your time out on the West Coast. Monday through Friday, next week, April 12th through April 16th, if someone's listening to this on the recording. Mm-hmm. And you'll find out more about just how it is that we end up in so much debt. I'll get into detail on just how that amortization works, but in a fun way. It's not just math all the time.
I was going to say, if you can make this sexy and exciting, you have me sold, because that is one of the things, right? Is it can be, I have these traumas about money from my childhood. I don't want to talk about it. So maybe you can speak to that and how you make it fun.
Oh, well, I mean, what could be more fun than spending each dollar twice? Come on. It is. It really is. And I'm not going to say every single aspect of it is sexy and glamorous, but the bottom line is it's very, very sexy and glamorous, you might say, because I mean you're moving up into the course. To go back to that analogy, you're spending each dollar twice. So I'm going to talk about the highway that you use to get there, the vehicle that's going to take you there, the GPS that's going to help navigate for you, and the fuel that's going to get you there. Any road trip that you take, you need those four things for sure.
Awesome.
And so I'm going to go and explain how you can take that journey, how you can take that trip, how you can get the help that you need to be able to do that, so that you can both get out of debt and set up your retirement savings account with the same dollars at the same time.
I love it. I signed up. Super excited. I love that you have a private Facebook group. And so please sign up for that, guys, because it's like, you completed my 5-day challenge, right?
Yeah. It was great.
Having the accountability, the coach, the free support, the camaraderie of like-minded people who are all wanting to go to the same direction and be in the same, as I say, since you talked about marathons, in the same corral together to win this race. I'd love for you. Sorry about that. I just wanted to clarify. Med, I so apologize. He's from Morocco. So we have people from Morocco, people from Washington State. Super excited to have you guys here. So I would like you to touch on, and maybe you go into this in your 5-day challenge, but this is probably one of the biggest things that I know impacted me in going through my journey of, I had bankruptcy, foreclosure. It ravaged my psyche. Like to your point, I went into depression. I manifested an autoimmune disease. Like I didn't realize how I had put my self-worth attached to my income. Like it became my identity. And then when my income disappeared because of the Great Recession and I lost everything, I then attached my identity to my debt. And I felt like a failure. And it took me to be quite honest with you guys, that's why last year was a breakthrough year for me, because I feel like it was 2020 that helped wake me up and get me out of that 13-year funk of scarcity, to be quite honest, and afraid to speak my truth, afraid to ask for what I believe I was owed as a coach. So can you share a little bit more about how you work with people on that? Because I think that's a huge
Absolutely.
transformational need in order for people to be healthy and wealthy and wise.
Absolutely. And you're 100% right. It is a transformational need. And the key for me is that I've been able to make that transformation with a lot of help. I've had the terrible marriage problems. Mm-hmm. I've had business failure. I even did one of those medical experiments where you allow them to inject an experimental drug and you stay at their facility so they can monitor your reaction, because I felt like the most marketable thing I had to sell was my health.
Oh, wow.
I've been there. And that's the number one thing in me being able to connect with the people I work with. Mm-hmm. I don't claim to be the greatest salesman in the world, the greatest financial guy in the world. Mm. But I've been there. My favorite clients to work with are the people who are where I was 10 years ago. Mm. And if I can help them, if I can assure them that I've been there, I've found the way out of that. I got help along the way. I'm here. I can help you now along that way so that you can see that light at the end of the tunnel and make that transformation. The system as it exists today, the financial system and the debt coaching that's out there of trying to fix budgeting. I'm not trying to fix budgeting. It's a broken system. And I'm telling people who have been trying to do that, no. Don't do that anymore. Do this. This is a better way. This is a transformation. This is a movement. And I can help you find a more effective way. You're not just working your way up to zero. You're moving into the course to reach not the starting line, but the finish line.
I love it. I love your authenticity. That's why I have you on the show too, by the way, and why maybe subconsciously I haven't had a lot of financial advisors and wealth advisors. A lot of times I meet them, and please, guys, I'm just coming from a place of love and grace when I say this, but a lot of times it didn't feel like they had been where I had been, where you had been. And wearing the really fancy suit and just looking really amazing and so almost unattainable. And I love all of you. I'm just saying that because what I love about you, $2 bill. Notice I haven't said your real name by accident yet. I've been really working hard on that.
It's not a secret.
So anyway, you can find him inside of the Facebook community and figure out who he is. But ultimately, just really just love your authenticity, because it really helps if you have been where people are now. If you've walked or run, as we use the marathon analogy, a few miles or a few marathons, it seems, right? And in other people's shoes, that is a powerful support system. So I just want to acknowledge you for that. And guys, please, as we're starting to wrap it up here, I haven't seen any questions. We have someone tuning in from India. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live. Go to SpendEachDollarTwice.com right now. It's a free 5-day challenge if you're just tuning in on how to learn how to get out of debt in less than a third of your current pace, which might be, sounds amazing, without paying any more money than you're already paying. So I just want to make a couple of quick announcements, and then I'm going to turn it back over to you to close out the show. Just want to let you guys know, some of you guys did take my 5-day challenge, and I just want to let you know that today is the last day to apply for my next program, which kicks off next week. So if you go to loiscoffey.com/application, you can apply to be a part of my program to help you create the wealth through your business and go get yourself out of debt and create freedom forever with Scott's challenge. It's a great way to start. I also wanted to quickly announce we have some amazing guests and some amazing topics this month. I've landed a couple of really big opportunities for guests. Next week, we have an amazing longtime podcaster, my friend Tracy Brinkman, who's a business and success coach. The week after that, Dave Rosenberg, a speaker and author and leadership expert. And on April 21st, we actually have a special tribute to Prince. If you guys know, I'm a huge Prince fan, and he died 5 years ago on April 21st. And at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, put that date on your calendar if you're a Prince fan, because I've got not one, but two people who worked with Prince or were part of his Paisley Park family. And we're going to go and talk about and honor that life well lived by one of our favorite mentors in music and in spirituality, and who really loved health and wealth and wisdom in his own way. So I'm excited to announce that. And then this Monday, this topic I'm going to talk about that also can help you create wealth and multiple streams of income. I'm going to talk about how to set up and create money through affiliate marketing. So with that being said, let's finish this with, do you have any last bit of advice? And then I have a final closing question that I ask of all of my guests. So any last pearl of wisdom that you want to share with our guests today?
Pearl of wisdom. Make sure you tune into Lois's show. I enjoy your podcast. I do have the 21st on my calendar already for the Prince tribute. Looking forward to that. As far as nugget of wisdom I can give you for myself, do please take that challenge, the Spend Each Dollar Twice challenge, spendeachdollartwice.com, to learn more, to be part of a community. Like Lois mentioned, that there's a Facebook group already set up. I will be in there on a regular basis posting information. I've got an incredible value to give you in that challenge, and I really hope you're able to make it.
Awesome. And I put that on the screen. It'll be in the show notes. And just one last question, because this is the live. So people will probably hear this when it shows up in iTunes and YouTube on Monday. And again, you guys can go to healthyandwealthyandwise.com to find this on iTunes if you're not already an iTunes person, or on YouTube as well. Will they be able to still sign up on Monday?
Yes, they will.
Awesome. I figured.
Because since it'll be recorded, even if you find out about it on Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday, I'll still leave it up at least till the halfway point, and you'll be able to catch up.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, if you saw value in this, guys, today, please hit the share button with your community, especially since finances and freedom are such a huge part of what people either struggle with and really, really want, but it always seems so elusive. $2 bill here has an amazing gift that will keep on giving for the rest of your life if you take action. So the final question for you that I ask of all of my guests, so you probably know because you've been a really good listener, what is, when you hear the phrase healthy and wealthy and wise, what does that mean to you?
Well, the first thing that jumps out to me is I'm glad that you use wise rather than intelligence or knowledge, because wisdom is the application of knowledge and putting it to good use. Let's face it, there's a lot of well-educated idiots out there that have lots of letters after their name, but don't really bring value to the people that they're with, that in fact bring them down a lot of times. So wisdom helps to put the health and wealth together in a nice little package. So you've got that right at the end to wrap up that package of what a great thought that is for all of us to be strong in our health, wealth, and wisdom.
I love it. Thank you. Yeah, it is about not just reading a book about it or reading an article or listening to podcasts to get your best health and your best wealth. It is about taking action. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Until next time, wish you the best health, the best wealth, the best wisdom. Again, if you saw value, please comment below what you liked best and hit the share button with your community so that other people can be inspired and encouraged here and now. All right, guys, Have a great week.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, refer a friend, and please drop me a rating or a review. If you do that, I'll reward you with a free 20-minute free coaching session on crafting your journey to your best self. Reach out to me at lois@loiscoffee.com to claim your 20-minute slot. Until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.